Welcome to Dental Wife Life. Whether you're married to a dental student or a dentist, navigating the unique challenges of a dental family can feel lonely. You're not alone, and this podcast is a space created just for you. Here we share real stories, honest conversations, and practical tools to help you navigate everything from dental school stress to practice ownership, family transitions, and finding your own identity along the way. We are here to validate your sacrifices, challenge outdated roles, strengthen marriages and practices, and build a community of women who support each other. We'll get out of survival mode and learn to thrive together.
Okay. So let's do some introductions. Do you want to go first?
Oh boy, I was hoping you would. Okay, I can.
Go first.
All right. So I'm Brittany, and I grew up in Southern Utah and got my associate's degree in St. George, Utah. And then I was going to transfer up to the University of Utah, but I met my now husband before I got my associate's degree, and he was going to BYU.
How did you guys meet?
Actually, in geography class. Romantic. We were both getting our associate's degrees there.
But he was going to BYU.
Exactly. Okay. Because he knew he wanted to go to dental school and he just wanted a more reputable school on his resume. I went up to the U, got accepted there, and talked to them. And they were like, just so you know, our program doesn't take all your credits from your last school. So your program will take 3 more years.
Oh my gosh.
I don't need to go to school that long. So I went to UVU, which is right next to BYU. So Andre and I kept dating and then ended up getting married like right after we started school there. So he was always on the dental school track. He wanted to be a dentist from the time he was like 11. And so we knew that very early. I had no interest in dental. I literally, when we got married, he was like, we have to schedule all our dental appointments. And I was like, for what? He's so we get like cleanings. And I was like, no, like my teeth aren't hurting. I feel fine. No, you like go in every 6 months. Like I literally was like not in the realm at all. Anyway, so I went to school for elementary education, got my degree there, and then he got his degree. And then we got into a couple of dental schools. So we ended up choosing Arizona. We moved down there, went to Midwestern, did 4 years there, and then he hadn't had enough fun. So we took another year in Texas. It's just school is just too good.
Yeah.
So he did an AEGD residency in Texas. And then after that, we got a job in Montana. Best place I've ever lived. I loved it so much. Could have stayed there forever. Worked there for a year, but my husband always wanted to own an office. And there was a lot of partnership opportunities in Montana, but not ownership.
Yeah.
So then we just started looking around. What do we care about? What do we want? Priorities, family, mountains, things like that.
Yeah.
And we found our office in Colorado. So then that brought us here. And now we've been here for 4 years, which is crazy.
That's so crazy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
did he work as an associate first at this practice, or did he just go right in and buy it?
So this one, as soon as we got here, we bought it.
Okay.
So he shadowed.
Okay.
We went and met everyone the couple weeks ago.
Okay, so the team knew, because that's always
we did. That was an intimidating meeting, like going in and everyone was older than us and we walk in, we're your new bosses, nice to meet you.
Yes.
So, and their doctor, he hadn't told them at all that he was selling the office.
Oh, okay.
So it was like here's these people. I think they probably thought that he was going to be an associate.
Yeah.
And then we told them in the meeting that we were buying the office like the next week.
Wow.
It was a quick turnover.
Yes.
But yeah, we've got 4 kids, number 5 on the way. And I guess too, throughout the 4 years we've owned the office, I've worked different amounts.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I was there as much as I possibly could be. Then I had a baby, so I was like out working from home for a while. I also would take the new baby, but then once he was like more of a toddler, then I would from home again. So not in phases of how much I'm in the office.
Yes.
But I've worked for the office the whole time.
Yes. Which is the beauty of being the dentist wife.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a juice.
It's like entrepreneurship, but very chaotic, and you get to build your own schedule with lots of stress.
Yeah. Not about
okay. And then I was trying to think, where in that story did we meet? I can't remember if you were in Montana or Texas.
It would have been Texas.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you were in Texas.
Maybe even Arizona, actually.
So everyone knows Brittany and I met. I was a personal assistant for an author, Benjamin Hardy. We'll give him a shout out.
Yes.
I used to schedule his podcast, and I'm pretty sure you were my first hire. Like as we started to grow his team, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You were at least one of the first hires. And I like, it's so funny because we've never met in person, but we've talked a ton. I know we've talked a ton.
Between texting and Marco Polo and business partnership and all the different phases. Yeah.
Yes. And we didn't even work together that long.
No.
And it was forever ago. And we're like still in contact like 5 years later. But it wasn't even working together that long. But then here we are 6 years later.
Right? We're supposed to cross.
I know. They just crossed for a moment. We've utilized each other so much in this process of owning a dental practice and stuff. And it's been so nice just to have somebody that knows what you're going through.
Yeah.
And
sometimes it's like for specific advice, and then others it's just to vent and be like, you know what this feels like.
Yes, exactly. So it makes it feel not so lonely. And which is how this podcast was born. Yeah. Because we've utilized each other so much over the last 6 years. And I remember we were just talking about how there's just not a lot of resources specifically for dental wives that are thrown into it. And like, I remember telling you that, and you're like, I've always wanted to start a podcast for just.
I started an Instagram page in dental school because there needs to be a community for this.
Yes.
I didn't post one single time. So that didn't work.
And we've talked about this podcast for at least 6 months.
Oh yeah.
But we are finally doing it, people. So you guys can be so proud. And we've talked about it so often, and we've sent screenshots of we'd see like a Facebook post and we'd be like, oh my gosh, we need to start this podcast. We need to do it.
We can talk about this.
Yes.
Speaking of that Facebook page, I don't know if you even remember this at all, but I had applied for the job because that's where you posted it originally.
Yes, that's true.
And I had applied for it, and then you didn't hire me, but you didn't even contact me. And so then you posted for it again like a month later. And so I was like, Andre, I really wanted that job.
No way. I had no clue.
Messaged you again, and I was like, hey, I really am interested. And then you had realized that you like mine had either gone to junk or you had put it in a separate folder or something.
Yes.
And so then you went over it, and then you hired me soon after that.
Yes. I just straight up didn't see your application.
It went goodbye. Yes.
See, it was seriously meant to be. Maybe we should have done intros even before we started rambling about stuff. But my name is Whitney.
Tell us about yourself, Whitney.
my name. This voice belongs to Whitney. I am also from Utah, and my husband and I both grew up like south of Salt Lake. We met at a youth camp the summer before our junior year. We went to neighboring high schools. But we fell in love when we were 16, and we were just in high school. I know. We're like learning so much about each other. Yeah. So he also wanted to be a dentist probably around that same time. Like he had somebody that he went to church with that was a dentist, and he's an artist. He loves like ceramics and woodworking, and he had to shadow for a class, careers or something. And he shadowed this man in his ward that was a dentist, and he was like, dentistry is the perfect blend between science and art. And so then Braden's okay, sweet, so I don't have to be like a starving artist. I can go to dental school. And that's really how it happened. I am a dental hygienist. I actually wanted to do cosmetology, was like what I was going for at that time. But then I had switched to nursing and was thinking about doing nursing. I did not know what a dental hygienist was. The dentist that I grew up with, he just did the cleanings himself. So I knew there was a dentist, and I knew there was an assistant, and I didn't know there was anything in between.
But you did actually go get cleanings.
I did go get cleanings every 6 months. And I was the one that was like, Mom, we need to schedule dental appointments.
Oh, there you go. You were born.
Yeah. And my mom's like, why don't you call and see when we were in last? And I'd call and I'd be like, my family needs to get on the schedule.
We need clean teeth.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So I was meant to be a dental hygienist, and I did not even know because it just wasn't even on my radar. But my senior year, my little sister, she was in a Frisbee accident. She caught a Frisbee with her face, and my parents were out of town, and I took her to her pediatric dentist. She went to a different dentist because she had a lot of dental anxiety. So I took her to her pediatric dentist, and he had hygienists. And so I got to talking with the hygienist, and she like told me what a hygienist was. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. So that was like 2 months before graduating high school, probably, which people will say, they're like, oh, did you plan this? Like that you and your husband are both in dentistry? He says no. But I was like, yes.
Yeah, we did.
Why? I was like, you weren't I was planning.
I knew you wanted to be a dentist.
Yeah.
I was there.
Like that was the plan.
Yes.
So I don't know what he pictured for the future, but it was always my plan.
Yeah.
So we got married when I was in hygiene school, and he worked. Oh, and this is something when you were introducing yourself, I didn't realize, but I also went to UVU.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gosh,
So what years were you there?
Around at the same time. I would have been there from 12 to 14.
Okay. So I graduated in 14. I was in hygiene school from 2012 to 2014.
See, they just keep the hygienist separate from the
Yes, we're like, yes. The campus is huge, and the dental hygiene clinic is like across the freeway. There's no interactions. We're like over by like by the front runner station. That's where the dental hygiene clinic is. So yeah, I didn't even go on to main campus at all.
Yeah, and the elementary education building is totally separate from the main campus too. It's not that far away.
Yeah,
but it's like separate. And because I already had all my generals done and my associates, I was only in the education.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. But we were there at the same time. I know, I love that. My husband also, he transferred to UVU and did his undergrad there. And then he graduated, like I graduated in 2014. He graduated with his undergrad in 2015. And then we went straight to dental school. We went to Creighton in Omaha, Nebraska. I have a twin sister, and her husband was also in dental school, and he was in his first year. And so that was so fun. We were neighbors. It was
what are the chances like you both done it?
That part was not planned. And just so fun. And we would have dinner together. And my sister is an English major, and we would have dinner, and I was working full time. They're both in school, and we would talk about all the nasty things. And my sister would be like, this is so dumb. Can we please talk about something else?
Anything, any other conversation.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about people's disgusting teeth?
Yes. And it was so fun.
I would have been with her. Like,
even like I have nothing to contribute except for like grimaces to this conversation. And so, those dental school, it was so fun to have my sister there and just like meeting so many great friends. And of course, there's so much stress with dental school, and it can be lonely, and you're far from family and stuff like that. But I know that you're still in contact with lots of people that you met there too. Like it's just, there's just something about it, like that trauma bond that you have is like trying to put your husband through school.
Seriously, you just become like sister wives. There's much to be said about like the tribe of the dental school wives.
Yes, definitely. Like you're trying, because we had his first year we didn't have kids, and then our second year we had our first child, and then third year had our second, and then I was pregnant with our third his fourth year.
All that?
What? Did you no, so I worked full time before I had my first, and then I worked Saturdays as a hygienist. And then I would work through the summer. I would sub through the summer and kind of save money. And then I did preschool out of my house for a few days a week with a friend. And then I started working as a personal assistant. So then he graduated in 2019, and we loved the Midwest, like Omaha. We loved living there. But there were 3 things that we were looking for. We knew we didn't want to go back to Utah. And so literally these were
like we should have a whole conversation about.
I know.
Also do that, but
yeah, that's so funny. So we had 3 parameters for where we wanted to end up. And we wanted it to be 12 hours from Salt Lake, because the majority of our family was still there. Omaha was like 14 hours. And that was just like those last 2 hours when you're driving is just, that was
especially with kids.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah. And so we wanted to be within 12 hours. We hated the humidity in Omaha. And so we wanted it to be a little bit drier like Utah. And then we hated the winter in Omaha, which comes with the humidity. But the winters were brutal. And we also hated the winters in Utah. So we were like, we want something more mellow than that. And we wanted to stay in the Midwest if possible. Those three things, you're like 12 hours from Utah, not bad winters, and not humid. That literally does not describe anywhere in the Midwest.
Yeah,
except
I'm
for,
like, that's like no man's land.
yeah, we found it on accident. I was the one setting out my husband's his resume. Okay. So I would get on and look up jobs, and he was just busy focusing on school. And this job popped up. This said outside of Kansas City. And I was like, I love Kansas City. It wasn't 12 hours. It's way further.
I was
12 hours.
I just mapped it on my phone because I'm like, I feel like they're a little further than 12 hours.
Yeah. No, actually, no, we are 12 hours.
Okay.
We're exactly 12 hours. But Kansas City is like more like 15 hours or even more from Utah.
So right outside was the stretch on there.
Yes, it was not outside Kansas City. But I still sent it in because I was like, I love Kansas City. It's so fun. It's such a fun city. And I was like, it doesn't meet any of my criteria, but I still sent his resume. Okay. He gets a call, talks to the dentist, and he tells me, I love it. It's exactly what I'm looking for. We had talked to like other places and just we weren't really finding what he was looking for. He wanted like a really good mentorship. He wanted to be able to do everything. He talked to the dentist and he was like, it's perfect. It's exactly what I'm looking for, but it's not even close to Kansas City. It's like Southwest Kansas. It's a small town. And I was like, nope, not doing it. My mom had grown up in a small town and she did not love that experience. And so that's really all I had to go off of. And so
the suburbs of Salt Lake.
Yeah. And so I was like, no, I don't think we can do this. But I was like, you know what? I can do anything for 2 years. Yeah. So I will give you 2 years. We'll go down there. You can grow your confidence as a dentist. And then I'm going to start sending your resume places or looking for practices to buy. That was my intention. We came down, interviewed for it. We were offered the job. So this would have been like November of his senior year. And we decided to take it. We were really excited. We bought a house in April before even he hadn't even graduated yet. And we bought a house and yes, we were committed. And we were so excited the housing market is really good in Kansas. In case you're like, how did they buy a house? We moved down here and he worked as an associate for about a year. He gained his confidence way faster than he thought he would. So after a year, which I think is pretty typical, dentists feel like they need more time. And then after a year of just being thrown in it, they're like, oh, actually, I've got this.
They're in the field.
Yeah. Oh. And so he was like, I'm ready to either be a partner or buy the practice.
Well, I didn't know when you guys got your job, you were not on the ownership track originally. I didn't know that.
No, we were only going to live there for 2 years.
Okay.
Which I will say, the little small town won me over within 3 minutes of living here. I just loved it. Yeah. I would say, which we probably don't have time to go into this and people probably don't care, but it really did win me over in the first day we moved here. Just so many things happened that I was like, this is what a small town is,
Yeah. Parades and all this stuff.
Yes. We didn't know we were meant for a small town. And I'm so glad that we just tried it. And so I was like, I love it here. I want to stay. So we looked at doing a partnership, but for multiple reasons, that wasn't going to work out. And so we were like, okay. And but I'm ready to be an owner. And so we started looking at other places to move to, which we looked at Grand Junction. I loved Grand Junction.
Which I happily take you.
I loved it.
Oh, you're happy where you are.
Yes. And then through a few conversations, previous owners were like, actually, what if you just buy the practice entirely? And we were like, yeah, we'll do it.
Spoiler alert, Whitney has been there for more than 2 years.
Yes. It's been a lot longer than 2 years. I think we're coming up on 7.
That's awesome.
7 years. Yeah.
It was around the 2-year mark that you guys did end up buying it, right?
It was a little bit closer to 18 months by the time we closed. We closed in April, 2 years from the time we bought our house.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. And similar to you, I've worked in different capacities through just what the needs of the practice. I like being a hygienist. When he was an associate, I subbed for the 2 years as he was an associate. I was actually his first hygienist because they didn't have a hygienist for him yet.
Okay.
And he was only seeing new patients and needed a hygienist. So I worked for probably 2 months and then had our like third baby and just subbed as they needed help. And then when we bought the practice, just took on the previous dentist's wife was like the office manager. And so took on some of those responsibilities, continued to sub. I've also worked as a dental assistant because we needed someone in that capacity, which I had no clue what I was doing and just got trained and it was so fun.
But you do have that skill set. Just some that hygiene
Yes.
is different than assisting.
Yeah,
but-
like I couldn't set up the room. Like I had no clue what anything was, but like I knew the teeth numbers and
which is more than I can do.
Yeah.
I still am like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Still, so I'll still assist as needed, which
Awesome.
I right now when I assist, I'm like mostly getting my husband's patients numb, which he loves because I can just like get in there, get his patients numb, and then he can just like hop in. It saves him a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then have like my admin responsibilities and stuff. So let's talk about, as we like wrap this up, let's talk about our transitions. Okay. So transitions from like buying the practice and what that looks like.
I love that you have that experience. I have only assisted Andre once, and it's because he was extracting my dad's teeth.
Oh, funny.
And so he was like, do you want to sit here and help?
I thought you were going to say because he was desperate. You're like, because he was
also that
desperate for somebody. Yeah.
So he's like going at it, and I'm like watching the extractions happen. And then this is a whole new world for me. I am not in the chair with the teeth at all. Like I handle the customer service. Like I talk to patients all the time, but working on their teeth, not in the wheelhouse. And so he starts like digging at it.
And you're like,
and it's like a little shovel, and he's like digging a grave. And I was like, oh, I did not know that this is what this is.
You're like, so much, that's so violent.
Seriously, I'm like, that's my dad. What? And he's just like laying there totally fine, and my brain can't comprehend it all.
Yes.
So our transition. So it was never a plan for us to be just the associate. We moved here from Montana to purchase the office. So they had posted, I think in January or February of that year. And we were really happy in Montana, like I said, but my husband, he's actually always had the dream to own 2 offices. That's like always been his goal, is I just want to own 2 practices. With the one we were at, it was a lot of partner sharing. He was trying to convince himself that's what he wanted to do. You can tell when it's not what they actually want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely was like, this is not a good long-term situation for us.
Yeah.
So they had listed around January. We drove here. We're about an hour south of Grand Junction. And so it's a small town to many, but the town I grew up in had 3,000 people. And here we've got just over 20,000. So to me, it feels like a city.
Yeah.
Like, we have a Walmart and a Target. So that feels like a big city.
That's a big city.
Yeah, exactly. So we came down here to see it. It's such a beautiful area. We love the area. They have a new rec center, which was just like all the hype at the time.
Yeah,
yes. Anyway, so we were like, yeah, we could do that. That'll be fine. And they've got the mountains, there's fishing, there's camping, everything that we wanted as far as that goes. And we're about 4.5 hours from Andre's family and about 6 hours from my family.
Oh,
so it's
so nice.
Distance to everywhere. So we're feeling good about it. So come like February, we sign for it. We get everything rolling to take over. We talked to them, and the previous owners, their plan was to be here throughout the summer and then move in time for their kids to start school somewhere else.
Okay.
And for me, I was like, that's perfect because I would like to I want my kids to finish the school year.
Yeah.
Then we can move for the summer and then they can start school here.
Yeah.
So that was very much like the focus of when we took over the practice.
Cool.
So we moved down here. We did buy a house there. So we were only in that house for a year. So that was a panic because it was like, we didn't expect to leave so quickly.
Yeah.
So we had to put that house on the market, sell it. And then we moved here, but the house we moved into wasn't done yet. And so we lived in our camp trailer at the local KOA for the first 2 weeks of living.
What?
Here. So we like went to meet our team. They're like, where are you living? And we're like, the KOA. We live in a campground, so that's great.
I love that.
So yeah, that was not anticipated, but it was fine. And it worked out nicely that we had our camp trailer because
It's literally on my bucket list to live out of a camper for the
honestly,
summer or something.
I did it. It was only 2 weeks, so maybe that's why I didn't need it. It was like house living and it was good.
Yeah.
Like I said, we went and met the team. They didn't know that we were purchasing it. They had seen us a couple times coming in and out when we came in February,
Okay.
but the doctor never told them that we were buying it.
Okay.
So then we met them and introduced ourselves as buying it. We bought it. So the original plan was that the doctor would stay on for 2 years with us as an associate.
Okay.
They were going to move, like I said, at the beginning of the school year, but they ended up, their house didn't sell. And for other reasons, they just ended up staying in town. And so he stayed on full time. So he was full time, plus Andre was trying to build up his schedule and turn this 1 doctor office into a 2 doctor office.
That's hard.
With a lot of bumps in the road.
Yeah, that's really hard. Well,
so it was like this point where like we just purchased it. So we're paying like this massive business loan.
yeah.
We're paying all the employees' payroll every 2 weeks. Plus we're paying him like 32% of his production.
Yeah.
And Andre has almost no patients.
Yeah.
So it was like SOS.
Because patients were probably still wanting to see their dentist.
Yeah, because
they
just
were
like he hadn't told the team, he hadn't told his patients.
Yeah.
So like they didn't know there was a new guy. And so it was just like we were like trying to be so nice, like make it work, but we were like, we need the patients because we have to make the money because we have to pay all the bills.
Yeah.
And so we sent out letters, we sent out emails, we posted that there's another doctor, all the things, and that we purchased the office, everything like that. The owner did end up going down to 3 days a week for a month or so, and then 2 days a week for a month or so.
Okay.
And then it just got to the point where it just wasn't working. There was no way. It's hard to let go of something. This was a startup for them. They had developed everything about it.
Yeah.
And see someone else step in and do things a little bit differently was difficult, which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of clashing and it was not flowing well at all. So we just got to the point where it was, you know what, we've had some hard conversations, we've made some adjustments, and it's still not working. This is the end. So we split off completely with the other owner.
He got fired.
Yeah, we fired him. To be blunt, yes, we fired him. And his wife had been the office manager for only a year or 2 because they had an office manager that ran everything, and she had just quit a year before we got there.
Okay.
And so his wife had stepped in and taken over, but she only stayed on with us for 6 weeks, and that was always the plan because she was just going to train me and then train someone at the front desk and be done.
Okay.
So she'd already been done around like October, November. The owner stayed with us till February until we parted ways.
Okay.
So then it was just Andre running the show. And the best part about it was the money that came into the office was ours. So then we could pay the bills. It wasn't panic anymore.
Yeah.
And we also, it gave us an opportunity to like actually make it our office.
Yeah.
Because for so many months we were tiptoeing over, we don't want to go too far. We don't want to offend. We don't set. And so it was a big transition, but it also was like such a gift to us to really feel like it was our office.
Yeah.
And now we could make it ours. So I did work a lot in the beginning. I've never done like hygiene or assisting, but I started by learning, right? Like I was an elementary school teacher. This was not ever my plan. So I spent the first year that we lived here, I was working at the office. I was learning insurance. I was learning billing. I was learning just like the basics of dentrix, like just learning the system and how to do it. One thing that has always been true about me is like, I'm obsessed with good customer service. Yes. Like I love Chick-fil-A because it is in fact to give me my food.
Right.
You know, like, I love it. So I just feel like the customer service, I've worked a lot of different jobs and I've always cared so deeply about that. And so that was what I could bring to the table is I can work with the patients and they're coming in to get hard stuff done. Most people don't love the dental office, but I can work with them and I can make this a positive experience when they walk in and when they walk out. So that was what I could bring to the table, which is not normal for what people bring on their resume to a dental job. But it has served me really well. And it's been really good for our patients and for our team. So I've done a lot of I do a lot of the payroll. I don't do insurance as much anymore, but I had to learn all that in the beginning. I had to learn the front office, the back office, a lot of the HR stuff, time off, everything like that is what I handle just to take that load off of my husband.
What we're hoping people get from the podcast is, which I can share my story on the next episode.
You did, for sure.
Yeah, but because like you weren't planning on being involved as you are, and you got thrown into it. I was always planning on being involved, and yet I still felt thrown into it. And there just wasn't a lot of resources. And so we're hoping this podcast can give other wives just some resources and some information as you find yourself thrown into the situation, because we all do. And that you know what direction you want to go, and just know that there's options. So that's what we're hoping for this podcast. So stay tuned.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Dental Wife Life. If today's episode encouraged you, challenged you, or made you feel a little less alone, share it with another dental wife who needs it. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media so that we can keep the conversation going. You can find us on Instagram at The Dental Wife Life. Remember, your role matters, your voice matters, and you don't have to navigate this journey alone. We'll see you next time.